Recently, allegations have emerged that the Afghan drug trade is directly linked to the leadership in the country and to the CIA itself. In part 1 of this 3-part series, we're going to look at Afghanistan's complex relationship with opium. Afghanistan is part of what's known as the Golden Crescent, an opium and heroin producing area mostly consisting of Afghanistan and Pakistan. Afghanistan's opium trade extends at least as far back as the 1980s, when Mujahideen rebels engaged heavily in drug trafficking while fighting against the Soviet-supported government and its plan to reform Afghan society. The rebels' principal client was Gulbuddin Hetmatyar, one of the leading drug lords in the region and the lead heroin refiner. The CIA supplied trucks and mules which were used to carry arms and supplies to the Mujahideen, were also being used to transport opium to the refining facilities along the Afghan-Pakistan border. The output provided about 1/2 of all the heroin entering the United States market during that period. US officials admitted in 1990 that they had failed to take any sort of action against what they knew was a lucrative drug trade in the region, because of a desire to not offend their Afghani and Pakistani allies. In 1993, a DEA officer called Afghanistan the new Colombia of the drug world. The Central Intelligence Agency has since reiterated that at the time, the goal was to remove Soviet influence from Afghanistan, and this goal would be achieved by any means necessary. Income from the opium trade allowed the Mujahideen to finance their military campaigns against the Soviet Union. Therefore, the CIA admitted to turning a blind eye. However, an understanding of the CIA's historic role in narco-trafficking in Southeast Asia, better known as the Golden Triangle, and in South America, leave any well-informed individual with substantial questions about CIA involvement. But this will examine more in part 2 of this series, so please subscribe for the updates. The success of the Mujahideen, backed by drug money, eventually led to the withdrawal of Soviet forces from Afghanistan. Significantly, a year prior to the US invasion in 2001, Afghan opium production plummeted, with the Taliban outright banning the crop. The UN even went as far as to acknowledge the success of this ban in 2001, a few days after the US invasion. In the October 2001 meeting of the General Assembly, it was stated that no other UN member country was able to implement such a scheme. Turning first to drug control, I had expected to concentrate my remarks on the implications of the Taliban's ban on opium poppy cultivation in areas under their control. This year's production is around 185 tons. This is down from 3,300 tons last year, a decrease of over 94%. The invasion of Afghanistan and the toppling of the Taliban by no means stopped opium production. In fact, farmers turned once again to the infamous seed, and crops and output skyrocketed. The post-war government in Afghanistan and the post-war economy in Afghanistan are now being labeled as a narco state. A 2014 report stated that in one of the few corners of Helmand province that is peaceful and in firm government control, the green stalks, swollen bulbs of opium were growing thick and high within eyeshot of official buildings during the past poppy season, signs of a local narco state administered directly by government officials. The same report goes even further. Poppy cultivation not only is tolerated, but is a source of money that the local government depends on. In an interview with Hakim Angar, a 2-time police chief of Helmand province, the lack of government and foreign initiatives to stop the growing of the crop is clear. Over the years, I have seen the central government, the local government, and the foreigners all talk very seriously about poppy. In practice, they do nothing. And behind the scenes, the government makes secret deals to enrich themselves. Ex-Afghan President Hamid Karzai and his brother are some of the wealthiest officials in the country. Karzai's brother has been directly implicated in being connected with the CIA, and even running a CIA-backed paramilitary group to counter Taliban insurgency. Since the US-led invasion, the Karzai family has been central to governing the southern regions of the country. A report by the New York Times that looked extensively into corruption and drug trafficking in Afghanistan came to the conclusion that the Karzai family has benefited greatly by being useful to the CIA and to the US officials, and that the two are extensively linked. This shouldn't be surprising when considering the fact that during the invasion, the CIA supported warlords and tribes in order to help combat the Taliban. The Karzai family was pivotal to this strategy. The report continues and states that hundreds of millions of dollars in drug money are flowing through the south of the country, and nothing happens in southern Afghanistan without regional leadership knowing about it. This was the statement made by a senior American military officer who spoke on condition of anonymity due to the delicacy and sensitivity of the information. In 2016, opium production in Afghanistan rose by 43%, according to the latest Afghan surveys conducted by the United Nations. It is evident that opium is critical to Afghanistan, both now as a narco state and to its leadership. It is also evident that the CIA was involved to some degree in the narco trade in the 1980s and 1990s. During the years of US occupation, opium production did not decrease at all, and this could only have been achieved with CIA and US officials in the area turning a blind eye for one reason or another. And whistleblower reports from officials who were in Afghanistan and have since left have not been properly examined. In part 2 of this video, we're going to look at the extensive history of CIA narco-trafficking in Southeast Asia, in South America, and around the world. Thank you guys so much for watching. As you know, I love making these videos. Please like and subscribe, and we'll get back to you with more stories that matter. Peace.